And what's going on, fellow Maschine users? Fontaine here, VIPSoundlab.com, and I'm on Maschine 2.6.6. Just going to run over some of the new features with you guys right quick. This is an update that came out on the 3rd, so I'm pretty much sure you guys are pretty much well aware of it. But I figured I'd make a video right quick in case someone's a little unclear on it or how it works. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your data access account. And what you're going to do is you're going to log in and just download the update. All right, then from that point, you're good to go. So one of the first things we're going to mention is here's this beat. As you can see right here, here's the samples that I chose in the last video. And on group B, I have some drums. So I had the beat going something like this right here. You know, paying homage to, we were remaking a 90s style beat. Shout out to Ski Beats, who made that beat for Jay-Z. Real dope. All right, so one of the first things we're going to mention here, well, I guess you can say it's pretty much cut and dry. I'm going to add some scenes like this here, and I'm going to add some groups like this here. So this right here pretty much works the same. You know, you can, you know, take your scenes and rearrange them as I'm doing like this here. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 4 3. Okay, that's pretty much cut and dry and easy. Some of the magic that takes place here, just to make this a little more easier to understand, on scene 1, this one under this group is where I had the sample. So let's say I'm gonna right click here, I'm gonna rename this sample just to make it a little more easy to understand, and on this one I'm gonna rename it drum pattern. All right, so now I have the drum pattern here and I have the sample here, and we'll do the same down here. We'll write sample and we'll write drum pattern like this, just to make it, you know, a little more easier to understand what's going on. All right, so here is the sample MIDI and here is the drum MIDI. One of the cool things is now you can just left click and hold, and I'm going to drag this not on group B, but directly past it where this little white line appears. And that's what you have to do. You have to make sure that that white line appears like this here. And now what happens is B1 now contains the sample. Okay, with the MIDI information, everything. I mean, all the way from your sample screen, you know, if you're editing, slicing, all that good stuff, your zone map, you know, it's just basically doing like a magic trick. It's reversing it. And over here on group A now, it's the drum pattern. Okay, same thing, where all your samples are going to be contained. As you can see right there. All right, so I think I was using the Street Swarm kick here. I was using the Brooklyn Bounce kick here, and sounds and things of that nature. So, all right, so again, you can just left click, drag it until this little white line appears, and you can switch them like so. Okay, so that's pretty much how that works. And you also can, well, actually, what happens when you're rearranging your scenes and stuff like that here doesn't follow suit on over here. Let's right click and add scene 1 here, scene 2 here. That was a dummy scene, that's why it's so short like that. Scene 3 here. Put scene 2 here, and over here we'll put scene 4. I want to have a little space in there, so I'm pretty sure scene 1 2 3 4, I'm putting in order here. All right, so now when I go over here, it's not following through on this side here. I did notice that. Now if let's say if I wanted scene 4 to be the first scene here, 3 2 1 like this, we're going 4 3 2 1 here. In idea view, it stays locked up like this, again because this is only an idea view. Over here it's not following through, so you have to append it, or you know, when you're over here on your scenes, however you want to select the scene, you're gonna have to do the rearranging from here. If you want it to be 4, then 3, then 2, then finally over here to 1, you have to do it like that. So that's pretty much how that works in a nutshell. One of the other features I'm going to show you, let's jump on, let's say this Scoville unit kit here. What happens is you can now, let's say if I'm under, let's narrow this down to some kick drums, and we'll shrink this back down. Let me grab a couple of kick drums here. Maybe I'll add like 4 or 5 like this here. You can grab your kicks and you can drop them right in a group like this, and they load up down below like this here. Then the process repeats. You know, if you want to add your hi-hats, you know, you can do it like this. Now, of course, this is completely optional. This is not something that you have to do. You know, they're just adding other workflow shortcuts. That might be a better way to describe it. And we'll add something like this here. Because when you think about it, well, let me control that because I just covered up my my kick drums there. Huh. Well, then again, I guess it didn't fill up the blank spots there like I thought it would. It was doing good until it got to the, you know, until it got to the snares. For whatever reason. Let's try that again. Maybe because it could be in alphabetical order or something, maybe. I don't know. Then it worked fine right there. All right, so maybe that's a bug. I'll just report. Anyway, so now we got those guys on there. And simple as that. All right, so that's a new feature, and I think the last feature that I'm going to cover is, let's jump under our plugin properties, under sound. Let's go back to our drum pattern, and now let's use the sample instead. Now we use the drum pattern, and let's go up under trying to figure out how I want to do this to make it really easy to understand. Well, nah, I'll just use the sample one because I have stuff that's already on here. So let's jump under this guy here. This is the sample. If you've seen the last video, I was making it more like filtered. You know, because sometimes in hip hop music, you want to filter a clean sample to get a nice bass tone. You know, if you want to cheat a little bit and get like a really dope bass line, you can do that. You can add a filter and then add that up under your clean sample. It makes it really pop out, and it's a really, you know, cool workflow to get a, you know, a bass line like really quick and easy. But anyway, okay, so here is the saturator plugin on the sound level. Here's your main section here where you know you can adjust your modes such as classic, tape, or tube. Okay, here's the charge, the overload, and the drive section. Right here is your EQ section where you have your bypass, your bass, your treble, and of course over here, here's your output section where you control the output. So what they added was when you right click on the knob or the name of the knob here, they have it so you can create a master macro, a group macro, or sound macro. Now the sound macro, you know, it's already here. So that one right there would be redundant, but for whatever reason, you know, let's say on the master level, I wanted to have that bass plug in there. You know, I just click that. So now when you go into master, you're not going to see it at first. You're going to like, hey, I don't see it. Where's it at? That's because you have to be under your channel properties, under macro, and there it is. So what happens here is just basically a copy. For example, if I put this at 39% here and then go back under the sound level, under the plugin property, same thing, saturator. When I hover my mouse over here, you see it's at 39%. Again, just a copy of what's here. So that, you know, so that could be pretty handy, you know, when you're, I don't know, for whatever reason, you could be doing your mix or whatever the case may be. You know, you could be on group A, assign a macro here. You might be on group B here. You know, you want to assign a specific macro here. You know, you might be under your, let's say on this kick here, maybe I had, let's do another internal one. Maybe I had a reverb there or something like that. Let's put that there. And then maybe I want to control the mix of that. We'll add that on master, and we'll go here as well. We'll go back to the plugin property under macro, master. Now we have bass and mix. Okay, which make life really easy, you know, if you're in here and you're doing your mix. So again, if we're under group C, I'm sorry. And let's say over here, I don't know, I might have had something over here. It could have been under a group level, you know, or something like that. And maybe I had a phaser or something and I wanted to control the mix on that. Same thing. Add it to the master channel under macros. Okay. So one thing I wish they would have added would be, I wish I could right click here and rename these, but we have to still use the pages icon here. And then you would have to add in, you know, your bass from your I just put sat for saturator. And this one we just did, this was a reverb one. And under B, what do we have on there? We had the reverb on B, I'm sorry. And on C we had a phaser. Okay. So copy that, add that there. And add the phaser there. Okay, cool. But I think it would be like a lot easier in the workflow, you know, if we didn't have to jump over to this page to, you know, do it this way. Too bad we can't just right click and do it here. Like the names appear here anyway, but if we could right click here, you know, and have it, you know, doing how we're doing here, I think that'd be a pretty cool tip. All right, but anyway, that's pretty much it. I think we've covered pretty much everything as far as update, other than the fixes. I do have the information here. Let me just pull it up. At least I believe I do. Oh, I thought I had it. Oh man. All right, well, you're gonna have to go on the NI website to get some of the other information. I thought I had it here on my desktop, but I didn't. There's like fixes for, you know, when it comes to using the shift and navigate buttons in Maschine Studio and things of that nature. And you know, it's like a big list of it. It's too many for me to just remember off the top of my head, but head to the NI website and you guys can, you know, go through that whole list of fixes. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Fontaine, VIPsoundlab.com. If you have any questions or concerns, just hit me up in the comments below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.